In the kitchen aisle, Dollar Tree has these glass cutting boards or trivets that are great for your kitchen but so fun for crafting. We're going to start with this round one. I'm going to remove the plastic from it. Now, they all have these little plastic or like rubber pads on the back. I'm going to remove them on this one temporarily because I want to craft on the smooth side. So these trivets have a textured side and a smooth side. So I want to use the smooth side, but first we got to remove the little sticky residue that the little pads left behind. And I'm just going to use some Goo Gone from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to wipe it really well, making sure there's no oily residue left over. I'm going to add a Mod Podge to the smooth side again, and I'm just going to spread it nice and evenly, maybe about a medium amount. Just make sure that you set it to the side, let it fully dry. Dollar Tree calendars are great for crafting, and I'm going to use this Valentine's Day themed one with a farmhouse truck. And I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to cut up the farmhouse truck as well as the LOVE from the top. You can use scissors, but I have found that using the X-Acto knife makes it nice, smooth, very clean cuts. But be very careful, of course, and just take your time. Once I had them completely cut, the Mod Podge had dried, and I'm just going to place the farmhouse truck towards the bottom. And then I'm going to place the letters on top, keeping that nice curved look from the trivet. And then I'm going to place some parchment paper on top and iron them on. I learned this technique very recently, I suppose, and I have used it several times, and I love this technique. It's so easy to use. I'm going to use my mini heat press, but you can use your iron if you have that as well. I'm going to iron it very quickly and then remove the parchment paper, and everything's so nicely attached. I am going to just use my sanding block to sand downwards to remove the excess paper. And then in the crafting aisle, you can find a sticker section that has tons of stickers for every season and holiday. And these little wooden hearts are available, and I love that they have the 3 different tones. I'm going to add some of these to the top just to kind of add a 3D format to the truck. This added so much texture, and I just love that 3D look. All right, so I do want this trivet to be able to stand, so I'm going to build a cute little stand for it. But just in case I want to use it on a surface, I'm going to place those little pads right back on it. In the crafting aisle, there's also a wooden blank section, and I found these wood planks that come 6 in a pack for $1.25, which I think it's a great deal. I'm going to use one of them. It is a little rough and has a lot of splinters, so I'm just going to lightly sand it, remove all those imperfections, and then wipe it really well because I do want to build, like I said, a nice stand for my trivet. I'm going to use some of these wooden tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use 6 of them to be exact, and then I am going to hot glue them to the board. I'm going to do 3 in the front, and then I'm going to take another one of these trivets. They're all the same thickness. I'm going to use this one as a guide so that I can place the back block, and that way I have enough space in the middle so that I can stand the trivets. I'm going to add the other 2, and then I'm just going to paint the entire thing white, although you can do whatever color you want. I decided on white because most of my surfaces are white, so that way it blends in well, but you can also stain it if you'd like. I absolutely love the way this turned out. The colors, the texture, and the 3D hearts. Love it. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take a square glass trivet and we are going to remove everything from it, again, including the little rubber pads. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the Goo Gone, and we are going to remove any sticky residue that was left behind. You just got to rub it a few times and then wipe it, making sure that the oily residue is gone. Same thing as earlier, we're going to add Mod Podge to the surface, spread it out nice and evenly, and we're going to set it to the side to dry. I usually put it underneath a fan that is on my floor, and it works so good. While that's dry, I am going to take another calendar. This one has a beautiful spring design, and I'm going to place the now dry trivet right on top, and using my X-Acto knife, I'm just going to cut off the excess from the sides, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're just going to use the ironing method, and we are going to place the design on top of it, then parchment paper, and then we're going to iron it in place. Now that it's nicely attached, we are going to use the sanding block once again, and we're just going to sand down those edges very carefully to remove the excess paper. This allows it to be nice and flush to the edge, and it's not going to scratch it up because it's a nice soft grit. I'm going to place those rubber pads right back on it just in case I want to place it on a surface. But if you don't, that's okay. This one I'm going to actually keep on a pad just like I built for the other one. So I'm just going to add a little hot glue, although they have the little sticky portion of it. It just hot glue and reinforces it. How cute. You can leave it just like this, but I wanted to add something on the edges. So I'm going to use some of this golden rub and buff that I got on Amazon, and I do have it on my Amazon store. And with a little tiny rag, I'm just going to add to the surface, making sure that it kind of overlaps to the front just a little bit. It just adds a nice subtle frame to the design, and I think it's gorgeous, to be honest with you. And again, you can leave it just like this, or I'm going to make a little bit of a 3D, and I'm just going to use some of these stickers from Dollar Tree. They have a butterfly theme, and they have a golden design to it, which complements the entire design. I'm going to add 3 of them just here and there. You can skip this part, of course you can, but I do want it to have that 3D look, and I love the way it looks. I placed it on the same surface that I built earlier, and I think it's gorgeous. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another one of those square trivets, remove everything from it, including the back rubber pads. And once again, we want to make sure we remove all that sticky residue with Goo Gone. And once again, just rub it a few times. Once it's completely gone, then just wipe it really well. We're going to add more Mod Podge to this one. We're going to spread it nice and evenly, and we're going to set it to the side underneath a fan to dry completely. All right, for this one, we are going to take this heart that I already had to use for another project. I'm going to mark 4 inches, and I'm going to make a 4-inch square in the back because I want to create or freehand a heart, but I want it to be about 4 inches in dimension. So I'm just going to do this first just to kind of keep me within those lines. And then I'm just going to freehand the heart as best as I can, and then I'm going to keep cutting until I have a nice even heart. Well, this is going to be another 3D style design, but it will light up, and I love anything that lights up. You know that. All right, so the trivet is nicely dry, and we're going to use this sheet of vellum paper that I found at Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of several of them. They have a cute little Valentine's Day kind of theme, black and golden, which I think is gorgeous. I centered it on the trivet, and I'm just going to iron it, and it worked really well. I wasn't sure if the material of the vellum would work, but it worked really well. I'm going to take a couple of these tumbling tower blocks, hot glue them together, and then hot glue it to the center of now the front of the design. So I added the Mod Podge to the back, the smooth surface of the trivet, and then the blocks to the front, which is the textured part. Now we're going to take these fairy lights that I do get on Amazon, and I do have them on my Amazon store. I'm going to wrap it around the blocks, and then we are going to hot glue the heart right in front, and then we're going to hot glue the battery pack to the back of the heart. That way you won't be able to see it, but you can turn it on and off. And again, we're going to place this one on the same base. You can create all kinds of base. You can create bases for all of them. And I love, love, love the way it looks. Wait until you see it in a darker room. But let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take another one of the round ones, remove the plastic portion of it, and this one we're not going to remove the pads from the back. We're going to wipe the top surface really well because we're going to use the textured portion of this one. We're going to take vinyl from Dollar Tree. It does not matter what color it is. We're going to cut little squares from it, and then we're going to use my flower-shaped puncher. I get this in a pack of 6 with different shapes on Amazon, and yes, I do have it on my Amazon store. And I decided to use the flower-shaped one. I am going to cut out 1 flower in each square, but we're actually going to use the square, not the cutout. And then once I have enough, or I thought I had enough, I had to cut a couple extra ones, but that's okay. I'm going to place them and then again on the textured portion of the trivet, and we're just going to spread them out nice and evenly. And I'm just making sure that they're nicely stuck on there. And this is why you want to make sure that surface is nice and clean so that that sticky part of the vinyl sticks really well. Then we're going to use the same rub and buff that we used earlier, and with a small little rag, we're going to fill in inside of each flower, and that way we're going to have a nice design with the golden flowers on it. I made sure that I completely removed any excess rub and buff and then remove the vinyl from it. Look how cute they look. Just like I did earlier, I am going to create a nice frame around this one with the rub and buff as well. And I'm just going to take a little bit more and just rub it on the edges, making sure that it overlaps on the edge just a little bit. I think it makes a huge difference. Of course, you can skip this part. You can also use paint if you don't have rub and buff. You can use anything you have, but I think it turned out great with it. Once dry, I'm going to take it out into my garage and I'm just going to spray it with this top coat. It's nice and glossy. It's going to complement the design and seal everything in. Once it was dry, I think it's gorgeous. You can use this to place jewelry on. You can put a candle in an arrangement. I love the way it turned out. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I have another video here for you with tons more of Dollar Tree DIY crafts inspiration. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.